Hi, Artie from Bar Mills here, looking at a classic Bar Mills kit and trying to give you a little insight during the Bar Mills Deep Dive. A very close look at one of our most famous kits, Wicked Wandas. Now, as we get into this, we just want to let you know that if you're an N scale or S scale or HO scale or O scale, Wandas is one of the very few buildings that we do in all four of those scales. As a matter of fact, if you look to my right, you'll see an S scale version here and an HO one here, just to give you some size comparisons. The name Wicked Wandas actually comes from a British adult comic strip by a guy named Frederick Mullally. And it was started back in 1973. It was in Pentas magazine, and that's how this kit got its name. Now, over the years, and this has been with us a long time, we've seen so many girlfriends and wives' names posted on this building by modelists such as yourself that there is a lot of flexibility as far as the theming of this goes. It has a small footprint, and what might make it look a little bit bigger one way or the other is that while it looks like it's 2 stories tall, the serious roof pitch brings it up almost to a 3-story tall building, which makes it great not only for waterfront in small towns, but even a little bit forced into a scene, maybe built up on a hill to bring some attention from the foreground. It's a fighter for attention. By the way, if you're doing, say, HO scale, you might very well want to consider buying an N scale one and use it for forced perspective in the background. O scale, you could use an S scale or even an HO scale kit and do the same thing. The details in this are more architectural in nature, from the cedar shake roofing to the fact that it has an incredible stairway that wraps around 2 of the 4 walls of the kit. It takes some skill to put this together, but it defines the building. The applications: use it next to the track, as a Main Street building, as a Depression era building for sure, but primarily in a non-residential surrounding. Now, it's true, I have to kind of cheat a little bit. There are just so many things to talk about with the Wicked Wandas. The building footprints obviously change with the scale. The N scale building footprint is a lot smaller than the O scale, but it's a very modest footprint when it comes to this building. And it's unique because of the elevated construction height of this whole assembly. It's perfect for the installation, additional installation of things like window curtains and little details that will really bring it to life if you choose to go that route. It's also the greatest building in the world if you wanted to ever lift a board or add a nail hole or do some dry brushing. We don't do that on a lot of kits, but this is one kit that really almost demands it. The windows and doors are mostly plastic, but that's not necessarily true because as you get to O scale, they turn into wood. The idea is that regardless of which scale Wicked Wandas you get, they look perfectly the same as the other scales. I don't know if I got that right. The whole idea, though, is to maintain the look of the building and not change the windows and doors simply because maybe plastic windows are not available. So we do go from plastic to wood depending upon the scale of the kit. We're going to take a deep dive into the box, at least one of the boxes, and show you what you're going to get when you open a Wicked Wandas kit. And we'll be back to talk about it in just a second. It's time to take a good deep dive look at Wicked Wandas, and I've chosen to show you the contents of an N scale kit and an O scale kit, from the smallest to the biggest. A quick look at what you can expect when you open a box. Now, obviously, there's going to be some different aspects of these kits because of the approach of how these have to be engineered. The N scale kit has details. They look about this big, and they include all kinds of little white metal details, including scales and so on. While the O scale kit varies in details somewhat because not everything is made in all scales, although we try to keep an equivalent so nobody is disappointed when they get the kit. In N scale, the shingles are cedar shakes, and there's a lot of them. It takes some work, but it'll yield some incredibly accurate results. But the funny thing is, the same shingles, as I skip around here, in O scale look like that. So there you go. We try to keep the same look regardless of the scale that you're building in. Of course, there's interior bracing in a kit, And of course, the interior bracing in N scale is almost none because the building is so small, it doesn't really demand much. But where you have all of the components, from the window glass to the walls to the base to all of the makings of the staircases in this package in N scale, that bad boy is the O scale version of the same thing. Sometimes there are slight deviations. For instance, the N scale package, well, actually, the N scale package these days has laser cut wooden windows, which is an upgrade from the original kit. And you'll find the same construction in the O scale version of the kit. You will find, and these are loose in this case, some assorted sticks in the kit with an explanation of what goes where. And regardless of the kit, you will be getting a set of some graphics that features the Wicked Wandas, of course. Final thing, as you go through the box, is the instruction booklet. Now, we have to tell you, these instructions were done in probably about 2004. We didn't have the CAD program we do today, and the instructions are much more basic than what you see today, although they have been upgraded over the years. A little bit more in the way of photographs as opposed to diagrams. But as you can see, this is pretty clear, and that's in N scale. I couldn't tell you, I would guess about 13 pages. By the way, the signs that are in O scale that are this big are actually on the front page of the N scale manual, and look at the difference in size. They're right there on the bottom if you look closely. So this is the N scale version of the instructions. This, however, well, that's a promotional sheet. But this, however, let me get it out of here, is the O scale. Let me unfold this. O scale version of the instructions that features some of the kits our modelers have built, and you'll see the different colors give you some ideas as how to approach this kit. So this kit is not meant for beginners by a stretch. You should be at least advanced, medium level modeler, or an advanced modeler period. And if you want to practice your dry brushing and the rest of it, this is the kit to do it on. Remember, we're showing you here in HO and O scales because they come in pretty much the same box, but we also make it in S scale and HO. So we have N, HO, S, and O scale. Wicked Wandas, the deep dive, right here at Bar Mills.